Notice what this letter we just read. In Jesus' letter to Smyrna, he doesn't promise they'll all escape. It doesn't have a happy ending. This is not a Hallmark movie, okay? Persecution, Jesus said, is inevitable. Yes, all who desire to live godly will end up being like what Domitian did. They're dipped in tar. It's going to light down here, and the petroleum will flame up, and they're crucified. In the largest place where Christians were killed, it's called the Circus Maximus. 250,000 people would gather in the stands, and they would entertain them, burning Christians one at a time, horribly, crucified and dipped in tar, and then they would huddle in the center as the lions came. Now, what does the Bible say? Get ready. Severe and painful troubles are coming. What did Jesus say? Rejoice when they revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you falsely. For great is your reward in heaven, for so they persecuted the prophets who were before you. Jesus in his Beatitude says, those who follow me should always be ready for severe and painful troubles. Well, we all had a preview of what's coming. I don't know if you thought about it. It was 4 years ago. Do you remember what happened 4 years ago? Here, I'll show you what happened 4 years ago. See all those masks? Apple, the first trillion-dollar company in history. Google, the largest repository of all information ever assembled in any company, brought the COVID-19 contact tracing to 3 billion people, and they didn't even ask for it. Between the Google Fi phones and the iPhones, they have 3 billion people that didn't really realize that the only way a cell phone works is through triangulation. Now there's a camera there, and there's a camera there, and I'm standing here. And if I have 3 cell towers and my phone goes through anywhere around them, those 3 cell towers are triangulating to know which one should send me the little packets of information for all my texts and messages and pictures and updates and emails and music or whatever I'm doing. And so for economy, for economics, for money's sake, they don't want to waste power, so they only beam the bits from the closest tower. So you know what that means? Every cell phone tower you go by is figuring out how close your phone is to them in case you're getting a call or a message or a text. What does that mean? It means the only way this works is for them to know exactly where I am. It isn't just triangulating the way Find My Phone thing does, where it puts a big circle and it could be anywhere inside that circle. It knows exactly where you are. By the way, a company in Virginia, a startup, a group of college kids, found out you can download from the phone companies, it's public record, all of the pings of every phone. Now, they don't tell you whose phone it is. But what this company did is they set up outside of the CIA headquarters in Langley, and they recorded on their instruments the cell signals. And they got a map of the phones with these no identification, just string of numbers. And they overlaid that with the public records, and they presented to the CIA headquarters a map that showed where every one of their employees were that lived and that worked out of that building just by the public records available through triangulation. Well, it made the CIA, they backed the towers off and put in, these things that limits the signal. But Apple did it for 3 billion people with Google. And what they did is they looked at your contact list, and if you went to the health department and got a COVID test and you tested positive, Google and Apple sent the health department all the people that you were near because they knew everywhere your phone went. Do you remember all this? No, you probably weren't old enough. That was a preview. As soon as the government identifies us as dangerous, evangelicals, Christians, missionaries, Bible believers, whatever you want to call us, they can trace all your friends, where you go, what you do. Bonnie and I, one of our ongoing ministries, we worked with a church planting place in China, and we met with underground church pastors. You ought to go to China and meet with the underground church pastors. They would not stand still in Beijing or Shanghai. They would go like this. They'd say, walk with me. And they'd say, okay, come over here. They knew everywhere you could stand where a camera couldn't see you. Kind of Jason Bourne kind of stuff, you know. They knew where the black spots were because they are constantly under surveillance, constantly brought in for questioning, constantly experiencing the hard times that we are not quite there. But throughout history, God uses persecution to advance the gospel. Think about that.